What's up, world? I'm Marc Marcel. This video is inspired by a comment from a user that asked me to elaborate more on how the subconscious tells on itself. I did a previous video where I was talking about how the subconscious tries to remind itself of what it is through movies, and he wanted me to elaborate. And the user is JDogsFull. But he said, you made a comment saying something like, that's what I think movies are doing. It's the subconscious telling on itself. So I'm going to elaborate on that because this is actually something that me and my friends have discussed a lot. Sometimes we watch these movies and it just resonates so much truth in it. For instance, Vanilla Sky is probably my favorite movie, I would say. And it wasn't like that um, 4 years ago. Like Vanilla Sky was probably wasn't even in like my. It was probably maybe in my like top 100 movies like 4 years ago. But after going diving deeper into my astral journeys, um, I rewatched the movie and it spoke to me so differently. And it was funny because I rewatched the movie and it instantly went to like my number one favorite movie, and I watched it like probably 70 times in a row. Like I would actually like have it on in the background just playing. And it's funny like in the last scene where tech support is talking to Tom Cruise, and he's telling him the choice is yours. You can dream or you can, live a real life. And Tom Cruise says, I don't want to dream any longer. I want to live a real life. It's funny because in Vanilla Sky, he was in a lucid dream, trying to free himself or get out of the lucid dream that he's in. And it resonates so strongly because you realize that this world we are in is an illusion, and in a sense it is like a lucid dream. And of course it gives you feelings and questions of, is this something, or is this something that I'm supposed to do where I'm trying to escape this, or why am I here, am I trapped in this? And it's funny because that movie, I can't see what movie has spoke to me like more strongly than that after watching it, because I understand that everything is in the mind, and that movie was based so much on what the mind was doing to him, and you realize that this physical world is nothing but what the mind is doing to itself. So you wonder, is it something that the mind is trapping you in? So that's one movie that I see where the subconscious likes to tell on itself and remind itself of what it is or what it's doing. There's so many others. I have a listing here that I'm gonna go through a few others. I mean, of course, Inception. When I saw that, I instantly jumped to like my top three. People are very familiar with that. It was funny because in seeing the movie, um, it was hitting me on all kind of levels. But when it really hit me was at the very end, when Leonardo DiCaprio and all the other dreamers, I would say, who went in their dreams, when they came out, when Leonardo woke up and he was looking around at the room, that situation, that mood is almost identical to when I see people come out of their journeys taking DMT or any other kind of psychedelics. Sometimes it's like they'll come out of it and they'll look around the room like, oh my God, like you know, and you know that I know, and I know that you know, and no words really have to be said. So when they came out of that level was the dreams, at like the last scene, I mean, it just, I almost jumped out my seat, and I was like, oh my God, they know, like the writers, whoever wrote that, the writers of the film, I was like, oh my God, they know that they've done DMT. Like, that's how I felt. But, other movies, of course, like my favorites, like K-Pax, I believe is an awesome movie because it it is trying to remind you of how small your planet, your world is, and expanding outside of your solar system. Where Kevin Spacey comes, he he's an extraterrestrial that comes. He says that he visits, and he comes with all this knowledge, and the knowledge is really, when you get down to it, the knowledge that he has is really just accepting. And I say that because there's a conversation that he had with Jeff Bridges, I believe that was his name, the psychiatrist, and Jeff Bridges was asking him, so what do you do, on your planet if someone commits murder? And he was like, let me tell you something, Mark. People in your planet, it's like, this eye for an eye. He's like, even the Buddha and Gandhi said something like those. I'm messing up here, but like those were primitive ways of thinking. It's like, but no one seems to follow it, and he's talking like basically he doesn't have no laws, no rules on his planet. And it's wild because he comes with so much knowledge, so much greater knowledge than you would think people here of Earth have. But yet he has no rules, no laws. It's just accepting. And it's wild when I think about it because the more knowledge you would seem that you have, the more accepting of anything outside of you tend to be. So I that's another movie that speaks to me, loud in the subconscious area where it's trying to remind itself. Um, Let me see, another great one is what was that? Is it Revolver, I believe, where it's a movie about the ego. It's funny because when I first saw it, I didn't know it was a movie about the ego, but then I watched it again, and I realized it's nothing but about the ego, going against yourself, your ego, basically your adversary. I'm sure people are getting more familiar with that. Me, I. But The Nines is another movie that when I saw, it was recommended by a friend of mine, Paul Metalstar. When he recommended The Nines, when I saw that, that was another movie that hit me strong. Because you realize one, you are a multi-dimensional being, that exists on all types of levels and can do anything, and your mind again. And all these are like mind movies that I fall in love with, but it's reminding you of how great you are. Um, Love, that was released in 2011, hit me hard, because it was a movie about an astronaut who was stuck in space, and he lost contact with humans. Like something happened on Earth, and he lost transmission. He was stuck in space for however so many years. It was about how we rely on each other through conversation, touch, interaction, and that is actually why we're here, to touch, interact, communicate. And it was a great movie showing the loneliness that one may go through without that interaction. Um, let me see. Let me see. There's Limitless. I know everybody knows that. Everybody likes to classify that movie as the DMT movie, as the undertone DMT movie. What they say that what that drug was doing. But it's funny because, I mean, obviously people. It's funny people who I believe who have experience with dimethyltryptamine. They don't they don't look at it as a drug, and that's really where I understand the difference in the two. I can understand. I can almost spot somebody out who's done it and who hasn't done it, because some people who do it, they understand it's a different feeling than a drug. But obviously, the movie Limitless, I felt was resonating a lot on that. And there are so many other movies, Contact, Defending Your Life, I thought was very good. A friend of mine, Nehemiah, recommended that. It's an older movie, but I think people should watch that. It talks about the levels that we're going through as souls, I guess you could say. And all these movies is just I mean, I have a list of stuff. It's like the subconscious is reaching out to itself, trying to remind itself what it is. Another one, the Source Code. Source Code is another movie that I feel on a very um, undertone level is trying to is telling you get it right. It's like because in the movie he keeps repeating the same scene over and over again, trying to save the train or the people from blowing up. And that's almost, that can be compared to a lot of things that we're doing here. We are, sometimes you feel like we've been reliving this life over and over again, deja vu, and a lot of it has been thought because we're trying to correct something. So that we unfortunately got wrong in the past. But anyway, all these movies, and I'm up here just looking at. I have a pile of movies, man. Jeez, the subconscious is just trying to remind itself and all this stuff. Sunshine, Stone, uh, man, even movies like even like The Time Traveler's Wife. I mean, this movie something as subtle as that, of Eric Bana when he was just going through parts in time, and I mean that they say we will approach a point to where we can almost go to any parts in time consciously, and they say that we can. I mean, they say here we are stuck in time, but time doesn't actually exist, and we can go to any parts that we want. But regardless, um, that should be enough for right now. But basically, if you, I feel that cinema is just the conscience, the subconscious screaming to itself, in art, like, like, tell on me, like, show me who I am, tell them who I am, tell them who I am, remind me who I am, remind them who we are. So, it's funny because you almost don't have to take astral journey or any type of psychedelics or anything, and you almost just sit at home and turn on the television, and the subconscious is reminding itself all the time what it is. So this video kind of ran longer than I thought it would be. I probably should get paid for a few of these movies that I probably helped endorse. Good commercial for them. But anyway, live, learn, love, and laugh. Respect.
I know they give me respect, even before walking over you, they see it tatted on my neck.
Mark My Words Productions.